Does your Madstad Phone Mount Crossbar vibrate side to side so much that you can't even read the screen? Well, you can do something about it. Stay tuned, and I'll show you how I fixed mine.
Hello, and welcome to Go Far with Brent. I'm Brent. In front of me is my 2021 Harley-Davidson Pan America. I've added a Madstad windshield system. In my case, since I'm just over 6 foot, I got the 22-inch windshield. I also purchased the relocation for the display that rises it up a couple inches. And then I bought the accessory mount for mounting your GPS. And in my case, I have a Garmin Zumo XT2. And I noticed on the expressways, this mount, though it appears stiff now, moves back and forth. It moves back and forth so much so that it's difficult to read the display screen. So today we're going to figure out a way to stiffen this up. What I've noticed, and I'll push on it with my hand, is if you press right here, this will move back and forth. Doesn't seem like a lot, but with the weight of the Garmin XT2 on top, it will move a fair amount. So my plan is to run a stiffening mount from this hole here up to the top there. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the cowling. All you have to do is a good swift tug and this comes right off. There's 4 rubber mounts, 2 on each side. So if you grab low on either side and just give it a swift pull, off it comes. So the bottom of the Madstad mount has a front and a rear bolt. I'm going to remove the rear completely and loosen the front. That'll allow me to tilt everything forward. Also, I'm going to remove the windshield so I don't accidentally scratch it. And I'm going to remove this mount bar. Okay, like I said, to start with, I'm going to take the windshield off. There's just 4 P2 Phillips or screws that hold it in place. There are rubber isolators, so you have to be careful not to lose them. So as you can see, it has a rubber isolator. I'm assuming that's to allow some give so the windshield doesn't get cracked over time. So remove all 4 of these. Now, as I remove the bottom one, I want to be careful. So I've got it completely loose. I'm going to hold on to the bottom as I pull this out. Now, with all the screws out, it will just come loose. So my next step is going to be removing the crossbar that holds the nav in place. The cross bolts from Madstad are 4mm, so I'm going to remove those. It's out of the way of what we're looking at right there. But I'm going to loosen the front and remove the rear of the original mount. And in this case, it allowed me to tilt it forward and therefore get in behind where I need to measure where this hole is in relation to the top. So in this case, I can tip it forward. I think this is going to be enough for me to do the measurements. All right, to do my measurement, like I said, I'm going to go from the lower hole to the upper. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a set of stacked washers and a nut to hold it in place. I'm going to bolt it at the bottom so I have some room to move things around. I'm going to mark the inside. So to start with, I'm going to take stacked washers, so a small washer and a large washer that's bigger than the size of the hole, and feed those in. Again, tilt this out of the way. Put that through. Next, I'm going to take the piece of aluminum, place it over. Just tilt this down for now so I can put the washer and nut on. Again, maybe a little hard to see with my thumb in the way, but there's a washer and a nut. I'm just going to leave these finger tight. So in this case, what I'll do is I'll mark the hole on the other side with a magic marker. So I'll line this up about to where there's room. I'll mark here for the hole. Then I'm going to follow the profile along the top so that gives me an area to know where to cut and to trim. All right, next, I'm going to remove it, opposite of how I set it in place. Again, this is just finger tight so that I can have some room to move it around. On the back, this is what I drew. So there's the location for the hole, and then that shape follows the top part of. So I placed it a little bit off center towards the leading edge, so that way there's enough room for the head to fit on the opposite side. All right, the next step is pretty straightforward. I know my face is off camera, but I do want to point out anytime you're using a drill, hammer, that sort of thing, always wear safety glasses. All right, first step, I'm going to punch the center of this hole so that the drill will pilot correctly. There we go. Now to drill the hole. All right, there's the hole. Next step is to cut this shape out and then cut it along the back. And again, I'm still wearing safety glasses. Again, please wear your safety glasses whenever you're using power tools, even a hammer and nail. This is eventually going to get painted black so it doesn't stand out. I'll probably go back over it with some sandpaper or at least something to clean it up a bit before painting. But there's our bracket. Here we are back at the bike. Here's the bracket. Should fit from that hole to that hole. Fits pretty well. So do I want the flat facing the rider or do I want the angle facing the rider? Honestly, I think I'll mount it this way. All right, the first step is to install the lower screw with the washer. Again, I have a large washer that's larger than the hole that's going to be on the inside. I thought about painting it black, but you won't be able to see it. It's on the inside. So that goes over the screw and washer I already had. It's a little loose, but once everything's tightened up, it'll be just fine. That's loose. All right. Luckily, that hit something that didn't get marked. All right, it's still loose enough to where I can position it. Again, up here at the top, I'm going to use the original fasteners to hold this crossbar. So again, these are 4mm that come with the Madstad. I'm going to tighten this one pretty snug. And tighten the other side pretty snug. Now I'm going to tighten the bottom. So remember, it's the same 4mm. And again, leaving this loose. I'm going to move it back towards, there we go. So it covers the hole. So even when you're standing next to the bike, assuming this is painted black, you won't see it. Tightening it up, the 10mm. There we go. This is good and snug. All right, so let's put the brackets back on and then the windshield. So again, all right, to me that seems stiffer enough. It certainly is a much beefier looking bracket. Next is the windshield. In fact, let me move the camera up just a little bit. Things in place. I want to check movement and articulation of the adjustable windshield. One thing that you do need to be able to do with the Madstad windshield system is reach this front knob. This knob holds this side to allow the windshield to tilt forward and back and up and down. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen both knobs and I'm going to adjust the windshield at its maximum range. So it's already all the way down and all the way forward. So I'm going to move it all the way up and then all the way back. So in the full reverse position, make sure this is loose. It does have pretty tight access in there. Now there is still enough to get your hand in there. But what I may do is I may reverse this. That will give me just a little bit more, maybe 3/4 of an inch, to be able to get my hand in there. But for now, this is the proof of concept. We'll see how sturdy it is and if it gets rid of my vibration issue. So off camera, I did decide to turn that the strut around. So I have the flat facing the rider, and the reason why is when this is being adjusted. So I'm gonna put it in the rearmost position. When this is adjusted in the rearmost position, there's limited room. So if I had this facing forward like it was, I'd have a difficulty getting my hand in there. Since I've always ride with gloves, doing it with bare hands is a little bit easier than doing it with gloves. So I've positioned it with the flat facing the rider, so there's more hand access. Okay, as you can see, I have since painted the reinforcement bar. I still have it installed with the flat facing the rider. It gives me plenty of room to get my hand in here with and without gloves. I'm not going to demonstrate with gloves for now, but I have them. So now that we're all complete, just as a summary, I used a piece of aluminum angle stock. This just happens to be 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch. It's something I had laying around from another project, but I've cut and trimmed this to mount on the left side of my Madstad mount. Now, the device mount is much sturdier. As you saw in the clip at the beginning of this video, the before and after is quite dramatic. I'm completely satisfied with how this turned out. Overall, I love the Madstad system. It really helps the wind and the buffeting and air control or air management around the rider. With the raised up screen, the accessory mount, and the adjustable windshield, I couldn't be happier. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll be notified of more content. Feel free to leave a comment below. I read every comment and reply as much as possible. And thanks for watching. Go far with Brent.